If the new CEO turns out to be your one-night stand, for a moment the girl stood frozen in place. Sally had only glanced down at her phone for a second when she bumped straight into a stranger's arms, leaving a bright red lipstick mark on his white shirt. Flustered, she apologized, only to have him assume she was deliberately hitting on him. She thought to herself, what a self-absorbed guy. Little did she know their story was just beginning. That day, she received photos from her best friend showing her boyfriend cheating. Sally felt as if she'd been struck by lightning. She couldn't believe the man she'd loved for 10 years would betray her just 3 months before their wedding. When her boyfriend offered the weak excuse that he'd just had too much to drink, she picked up a glass of red wine and threw it in his face. 10 years of feelings ended right then and there. Afterwards, Sally went to a bar alone to drown her sorrows. On a whim, she played a game and accidentally broke the bar's high score. The owner told her there was a rule. Whoever broke the record could make one request of the previous record holder. Following the owner's direction, Sally saw a handsome man in a suit. It was Mo, the same man she bumped into that morning. Mo clearly recognized her too. Before Sally could decide what to ask for, heartbroken and distracted, she just kept drinking one glass after another. Yet her gaze was involuntarily drawn to Mo, who was singing on stage. His voice had a lazy, magnetic quality that completely captivated her. She had no idea how many drinks she'd had before she was stumbling drunk. When a staff member tried to use her phone to call someone to pick her up, she tossed it into an ice bucket. Just as the staff member was at a loss, Mo walked over. But before Mo could say a word, Sally grabbed him and declared she wanted to stamp another lipstick mark on his shirt. "Don't forget, I have the right to ask you for anything," she said. True to his word, Mo agreed, albeit reluctantly, to take her home. But Sally, completely drunk, refused to give her address. She just kept crying about being cheated on, rambling on about how she'd wasted 10 years of her youth. Mo couldn't have cared less. He just wanted to get rid of this troublesome woman. Just as Mo was losing his patience, Sally suddenly grabbed his collar, her eyes glazed over, and whispered, "I don't want to go home." The moment she finished speaking, she passed out drunk in his arms. The next morning, Sally woke up in a hotel bed wearing very little. Seeing clothes scattered on the floor and fragmented, intimate memories flashing through her mind, she panicked. Mistakenly believing she'd slept with the stranger, she wished she could vanish into thin air. She hurriedly gathered her clothes to escape, but as she pulled on her stockings, she noticed a huge hole in them. With a sigh, she had no choice but to toss them into the trash. Meanwhile, the atmosphere at Sally's company was tense and buzzing with excitement. The new president was making his first round of inspections through every department. When he passed Sally's desk, Mo glanced at the photo on it and paused briefly, never expecting fate to be this unpredictable. By the time Sally rushed into the meeting, she looked up and saw the new president, the very man she'd spent the night with. She stood frozen in place. Continuing from the previous story, the girl was shocked to discover that the company's newly appointed president was actually the man she had spent an intimate night with. The night before, she had only wanted to use alcohol to numb the pain of her breakup, but ended up in a blurry, passionate one-night stand with him. She had thought it was just a fleeting accident, but who could have imagined he would become her boss? Sally had no choice but to put on a brave face and pretend they had never met. However, Mo wore a meaningful smile. During the meeting, his gaze kept drifting towards Sally. Seeing her now, professional and polished in her office attire, was a stark contrast to the way she had drunkenly clung to him and acted out the night before. Mo found it increasingly amusing. After the meeting ended, while waiting for the elevator, he couldn't resist teasing her. "You look familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen you," he said. Sally forced herself to stay calm and denied it, but her cold, dismissive attitude only made Mo chuckle softly. His next sentence shattered her composure completely. "You still haven't paid for the hotel room." Seeing the playful look on his face, Sally's cheeks flushed bright red. This was probably the most embarrassing moment of her life. That evening, after much thought, she finally took the initiative to add Mo on WeChat, intending to transfer the money for the room and put an end to the whole affair. Mo's reply was teasing, and then he went silent, clearly not ready to let it go. While this trouble remained unresolved, her cheating ex-boyfriend sent a message begging to reconcile, asking to meet at their new apartment. When Sally went, her ex tried to excuse himself by saying he had just made a mistake any man could make, and pleaded for her forgiveness. But Sally refused to deceive herself any longer. She bluntly told him their relationship was like the shattered photo frame. It could never be pieced back together. With that, she turned and left without looking back, leaving her ex-boyfriend filled with resentment. The next day at work, Sally ran into Mo again at the elevator. She got straight to the point. It was just a fling, no need to take it seriously. Though her words were bold, her ears turned red. Her body was far more honest than her mouth. As soon as she returned to her desk, the president's assistant delivered an envelope containing the exact amount she had transferred for the room. Furious, Sally texted Mo, demanding to know what he really wanted. Mo replied in a teasing tone, telling her to come see him after work. Reluctantly, Sally went, only to find that the place was an escape room. She was startled when Mo suddenly appeared. Seeing her flustered reaction, Mo couldn't help but smile. He stated plainly that if she wanted to truly put this behind her, she had to successfully complete the haunted house challenge. Sally felt both angry and helpless, but had no choice but to push forward. While crossing a suspension bridge, she missed a step and stumbled. Mo instinctively reached out to catch her, but she reflexively pushed him away. "Don't touch me," she snapped. Who was it that liked getting handsy? Mo's retort made Sally instantly recall the Winton incidents of that drunken night, and her cheeks burned with embarrassment. She insisted that night had been a misunderstanding. In the end, she failed to complete the challenge, and the chance to move on vanished. A few days later, her best friend took her to a masquerade party. Sally was unexpectedly paired with Mo as a couple, and it was then that she learned the truth about that night. Nothing had actually happened. She had been played by Mo all along. Just what do you think happened between us that night? Mo's words left Sally both mortified and furious. She realized all her previous awkwardness and inner turmoil had just been a joke to him. Under the camera flash, the CEO arrives to save the day in a sharp suit. His appearance instantly captivated many girls. Continuing from the previous story, Sally was preparing for a company event shoot when the model they had booked in advance stood them up at the last minute. Finding a replacement on such short notice seemed almost impossible. Her team members then suggested that Mo would be a perfect fit. Sally flatly refused at first, but upon second thought she realized how difficult it would be to find someone else in time. Someone else urged her to at least give him a call. While Sally insisted it was out of the question, the event couldn't afford any mishaps. In the end, she reluctantly dialed Mo's number, asking if he was available. After she explained the situation in detail, Mo responded with a hint of sarcasm, asking, "Didn't you say you'd never contact me again?" Sally patiently explained, thinking that as a major investor and CEO of the company, Mo would likely agree. But Mo suddenly asked, "Am I your ideal type?" The question left Sally stunned. In her impression, Mo was cold and aloof, nothing like her ideal type at all. Hearing her prolonged silence, Mo understood the answer. He calmly said, "Sorry, I have a meeting and can't make it," before hanging up. Sally was both anxious and furious, barely holding back her emotions as she listened to the dial tone. With no other choice, she tried to find a temporary stand-in, but the director took one look and shook his head, saying it just wouldn't work. When Sally urged the director to think of another solution, he shot back, "You might as well put yourself in front of the camera." Just as the deadlock seemed unbreakable, a handsome man in a light blue suit walked toward them. It was Mo. Under the camera flashes, his tall, well-built figure was showcased perfectly, making all the young women on set swoon. Seeing Mo arrive to save the day, Sally couldn't help but smile, thinking to herself, Mo truly is the ideal type. He can pull off any outfit flawlessly. The director was satisfied with the shoot, and everyone else watched in admiration. After the shoot, Sally hurried over to thank him. Mo asked, "How are you going to thank me?" Sally promised to treat him to a lavish meal, but when they arrived at the place, the CEO looked surprised. "Is this what you call a lavish meal?" Sally smiled and nodded, explaining that this was her secret spot. She shared that when she was young, her family struggled financially. When her parents were too busy to cook, she and her brother would buy a few skewers of meat here and sandwich them between steamed buns. For her back then, this was the best feast imaginable. Hearing her story, Mo's impression of Sally quietly began to change. The two chatted comfortably about their childhoods, the atmosphere relaxed and easy. Then, Sally received a phone call. Noticing she was wearing a short skirt, Mo thoughtfully stood up, took off his suit jacket, and gently draped it over her shoulders. The sudden gesture made Sally's heart race, and her cheeks instantly flushed with a rosy blush. Continuing from the previous story, the domineering CEO noticed the girl's exposed legs and immediately stood up, taking off his suit jacket. He quickly stepped forward and draped it over her lap. Sally was touched by this unexpected act of thoughtfulness, a wave of warmth rising in her heart. But after a moment's reflection, she felt this man was too dangerous and resolved to draw a clear line with him once and for all. "We're not in the same league," Sally said firmly. But Mo, who had already fallen for her, didn't agree. He believed life was made up of countless unexpected turns. Yet what he never imagined was that just one night later, something happened that he could hardly accept. Sally actually got back together with her cheating ex-boyfriend. The two appeared before him as a couple, and the ex even deliberately asserted his dominance in front of Mo. It turned out that the night before, after Sally returned home, her father learned about the breakup. He told her how, back when she had a high fever that turned into pneumonia, her ex had given up his chance to pursue a PhD to take care of her. Her father advised her that marriage was about partnering with someone suitable, that building a good life together was more important than romance. Her father's words left Sally hesitant. After all, 10 years of feelings weren't something she could just let go of easily. Sweet memories with her ex kept replaying in her mind like scenes from a movie. So when her ex asked to meet again, apologizing with a face full of remorse and begging for forgiveness, Sally ultimately softened. She agreed to give their relationship another chance. Watching his rival proudly assert his claim in front of him, Mo was filled with mixed feelings. He simply couldn't understand why Sally would rather forgive a cheating scumbag than give him a second glance. Just as Sally had drawn a line with Mo, his admirer Lily showed up at her door, warning Sally to stay away from him. Not wanting to affect her colleagues, Sally had no choice but to pull this young lady into the restroom and demand to know what she wanted. Hearing this, Lily immediately flared up, forbidding Sally from speaking ill of Mo in any way, and once again warned her to stay away from him. No sooner had this trouble left than another accident struck. As Sally was leaving, she accidentally twisted her ankle and had to limp her way to deliver documents to Mo. Mo noticed her unusual gait right away. To be continued. Continuing from the previous story, the domineering CEO couldn't bear to see the girl he liked walking with an injured foot, so he picked her up and carried her over his shoulder despite her resistance. Sally remained expressionless the entire time, showing no gratitude whatsoever. Not wanting to have any further entanglement with him, Sally asked him to take her straight to the company. Seeing her deliberately keep her distance, Mo had no choice but to suppress his feelings for the time being and do as she asked, dropping her off at the company entrance. Before getting out of the car, Sally made a point of drawing a clear line again, thanking him coldly. Watching her repeatedly push him away for the sake of her cheating fiancé, Mo felt a mix of conflicting emotions. It was the first time he had ever tasted disappointment, so he went to a bar alone to drown his sorrows. Staring at the drum set on stage, his mind was filled with images of holding Sally while playing the guitar. Unconsciously, this woman had completely occupied his thoughts. The next day, news of company layoffs spread. Sally rushed to the office to argue fiercely on behalf of her team. But Mo's single remark, "Don't mix personal feelings with work," froze their relationship completely. Convinced that the layoffs were his decision, Sally's gaze grew even colder. However, she refused to admit defeat. She worked through the night compiling performance data and went to find Mo, hoping he would reverse the decision. Yet Mo insisted on survival of the fittest, which only deepened her impression of him as cold and ruthless. Mo stated bluntly that a company couldn't be run on emotions alone. What he didn't say was that the board had only agreed to halt the layoffs under the condition of achieving a 30% efficiency improvement within 3 months, all of which he had fought for behind the scenes. Later, Sally learned the truth from a colleague and, filled with guilt, wanted to invite Mo to a meal to apologize. Though Mo pridefully refused at first, he was honest at heart. Upon hearing Sally's sincere apology, he immediately changed his mind and insisted on choosing the place himself. During the meal, Mo asked her why she had forgiven her cheating fiancé. She avoided the question, saying it was a personal choice and she hoped he wouldn't interfere. Jealousy surging, Mo deliberately asked her to be his designated driver. In the car, Sally held the steering wheel, her gaze unconsciously drifting to his face. Suddenly, she remembered that every time she was in a sorry state, he had appeared by her side without exception. She hadn't realized that she had already developed feelings for him. Mo intentionally turned toward her, but she stubbornly denied she was looking at him, her cheeks growing increasingly warm. One day, Sally's fiancé delivered hairy crabs to her company. On a whim, she thought of giving a box to Mo, but unexpectedly, he coldly refused. A scheming female colleague, seeing this, immediately mocked her for misdirecting her affection, leaving Sally even more confused by Mo's unpredictable behavior. To be continued. The CEO pulled the girl he liked into a storage room, wanting to explain the misunderstanding to her. Just as she was about to leave, she accidentally tore her clothes, and her bra strap unexpectedly snapped. This awkward moment left her completely flustered. Continuing from the previous story, Sally's fiancé suddenly ordered a large batch of hairy crabs for her to give to her colleagues, hoping it would help her build better relationships at work. Wanting to thank Mo for his support, Sally specially brought him a box of the crabs. To her surprise, he coldly refused, leaving Sally convinced he was deliberately trying to embarrass her. Not willing to be misunderstood like this, Mo immediately chased after Sally and pulled her into a nearby storage room. Little did they expect such an awkward situation to unfold. Seeing what happened, Mo quickly took off his suit jacket, stepped forward, and draped it over her shoulders. Sally was somewhat embarrassed by the gesture, her cheeks flushing slightly. Mo then patiently explained to her why he had refused the box of hairy crabs. It turned out that Mo's late mother was most skilled at cooking hairy crabs, but after her passing, he had never eaten the dish again. Sally never expected this to be the reason. Thinking back on her earlier misunderstanding of him, she was filled with deep guilt. Watching Mo's lonely figure walk away, Sally felt an inexplicable pang of heartache. The next day, when Sally went to return the suit jacket, she ran into her fiancé, who had come to the company for a meeting right outside the CEO's office. For some reason, she suddenly felt uneasy and stammered, unable to explain where the jacket came from. Just then, Mo stepped in to defuse the situation, explaining that it was a sample garment from a photo shoot. Sally quickly went along with the story. After some small talk, her fiancé naturally took Sally's hand and left. Watching their seemingly affectionate departure, Mo felt a sour ache in his heart. What he never expected was that later that same day, the fiancé would privately sue Mo's company in Sally's name. This act of taking matters into his own hands infuriated Sally. Why did he never discuss anything with her? Coupled with the memory of his past infidelity, she realized she could no longer move past it. They could never go back to the way things were. After returning to the company, in order to convince Mo to help promote her team's video, Sally had no choice but to go find him at the swimming pool and plead her case. But as she walked, her foot slipped, and she accidentally lost her balance and fell into the pool. To be continued. The domineering CEO finally mustered the courage to confess his feelings to the girl he liked. But his words caught her so off guard that she accidentally fell into the swimming pool. He panicked instantly, jumped into the water without a second thought, and tightly pulled Sally into his arms. When their eyes met, both their hearts raced like startled deer. They clearly harbored feelings for each other, yet they couldn't be together. All because Sally had a fiancé, a scumbag who had been with her for 10 years and still cheated on her. That day, Sally went up to the rooftop to check on the advertisement placements. Unexpectedly, the building suddenly lost power. In the darkness, she accidentally twisted her ankle. Just then, her fiancé called. Sally had barely finished explaining her situation when her phone died from a dead battery. Meanwhile, when Mo saw the blackout, his only thought was concern for Sally, who was trapped on the rooftop. He immediately rushed over in a panic. After climbing 20 flights of stairs, he was out of breath but still stubbornly claimed he was also there to check the ads. Seeing Sally's sprained ankle, Mo immediately knelt down and gently examined it for her. Watching his focused expression, Sally felt an indescribable wave of emotion and warmth well up inside her. They clearly liked each other, yet they couldn't be together. It was simply a matter of unfortunate timing. At the same time, Sally's fiancé hurried to the building. However, upon learning that the elevators were out due to the power outage and that Sally was stranded on the 20th floor, This man who constantly professed his love for her didn't even consider going up to look for her. Instead, he chose to wait downstairs. Yet when he saw Sally coming down with Mo, the suspicion and jealousy in his eyes were impossible to hide. His distrustful gaze made Sally somewhat uncomfortable. She quickly explained that Mo was there to check the advertisements. However, her fiancé, being a lawyer, keenly sensed that something was off between them. He quickly adjusted his demeanor and politely thanked Mo for looking after his girlfriend, but it was clearly a deliberate move to assert his dominance in front of the other man. On the way back, seeing Sally distracted, her fiancé couldn't hold back any longer and told her not to get too close to Mo. Yet even Sally's obedient response failed to satisfy him. So a few days later, the fiancé specifically arranged a dinner gathering, once again forcefully asserting his ownership in front of Mo. To be continued. Picking up from the last episode, the man, determined to assert his claim in front of his rival, deceived his girlfriend into attending a carefully arranged dinner party. It wasn't until they entered the restaurant that Sally saw the domineering CEO she secretly admired was also there. She realized her fiancé's intention, but felt too guilty to meet Mo's eyes. To flaunt their relationship, the fiancé held Sally's hand and declared that meeting her was the luckiest thing in his life. Meanwhile, Mo drank quietly by himself, lost in his thoughts. Then the fiancé pretended to be affectionate and thoughtfully added wasabi to a piece of food for Sally before placing it in her bowl. Ironically, 10 years together hadn't been enough for him to learn her taste. Sally actually disliked wasabi. She pushed the meat aside and served herself another piece instead. Mo noticed everything. The fiancé suddenly asked Mo what type of girl he liked. Mo replied, "Someone who doesn't eat wasabi." His words pierced through the false warmth at the table like a needle. To avoid making the situation too awkward, Sally forced herself to stay calm and ate the wasabi anyway. Seeing her defend her scumbag fiancé like this, Mo felt deeply upset. Seizing the opportunity, the fiancé took several mocking jabs at Mo. This made Mo's jealousy surge instantly, so when Sally went to the restroom, he followed right after. He confronted her, demanding to know how long she planned to keep deceiving herself. The fiancé asserting his claim had completely infuriated Mo. Just as the two were entangled in their argument, the fiancé, who had sensed something was off, came looking for them. To be continued. Continuing from the previous story, the domineering CEO cornered the girl in the restroom, determined to make a bold confession. Just then the girl's fiancé showed up looking for her. Afraid of being misunderstood, Sally quickly pulled Mo into a restroom stall to hide. Unexpectedly, Mo turned around and pulled her inside with him. Seizing the moment and fueled by alcohol, Mo pressured her to face reality. Her fiancé neither understood nor trusted her. Why force it? As the two argued, the suspicious fiancé pushed the door open and entered. Mo was about to open the stall door and leave when Sally hurriedly stopped him. The truth was, they had already fallen for each other without realizing it. Sally just hadn't dared to admit her feelings. The fiancé began knocking on each stall door one by one. When he reached the third stall, the hearts of the two inside leaped into their throats. If they were caught now, no amount of explaining would clear things up. Just as the fiancé's hand was about to touch the door handle, someone suddenly called him, giving the two a narrow escape. "Let's end things here," Sally said before hurriedly leaving Mo filled with regret over his impulsiveness. Meanwhile, the fiancé quietly planted a seed of doubt in his heart. On the way back, Mo's words kept echoing in Sally's mind. Her fiancé sensed her wavering and deliberately warned her that Mo was ruthless and unpredictable, insisting she keep her distance. He then specifically delivered dessert to Sally's company to assert his ownership. Little did he expect this move would only annoy Sally. When Mo apologized for his earlier impulsiveness, Sally still made sure to draw a clear boundary with him. Mo asked if she was happy. Receiving a cold response, he had no choice but to respect her decision. But when Mo actually kept his distance, Sally felt inexplicably upset. Without even realizing it, she had already fallen deeply into these complicated feelings. Not long after, a problem arose at the company's printing plant. The ads were set to go live the day after tomorrow, but the supplier suddenly backed out. Sally was frantic until she managed to find another printing factory at the last minute. Just as she was about to head there, she bumped into Mo, and all her documents scattered on the floor. But when she arrived at the printing factory, she realized she had grabbed the wrong USB drive. It only contained text, no images. It suddenly occurred to her that when she bumped into Mo earlier, she must have taken his USB drive by mistake. Just as she was anxiously making a call, she never expected Mo to personally deliver the USB drive to her. Sally was filled with gratitude. Due to the large print run, everyone had to wait overnight. Seeing she was wearing a short skirt, Mo took off his jacket and draped it over her legs. This gentle gesture slowly softened Sally's heart. Under a sky full of stars, the two chatted and spent an unforgettable night together. Mo thought there might still be a chance, but he never expected that a few days later, he would accidentally learn that Sally was getting married to her fiancé. The news instantly filled him with despair. To be continued. Continuing from the previous story, the domineering CEO accidentally discovered that the girl he liked was about to marry someone else. But he still forced himself to suppress the pain inside, and deliberately staged an accidental meeting with her at the elevator. With a hint of sarcasm in his tone, he congratulated her. Sally appeared calm on the surface, but inside, her heart was a whirlwind of emotions. Mo seemed composed on the outside, but his inner world was already in turmoil. Little did he know, this marriage was nothing more than her fiancé's one-sided wish. And Sally knew it all too well. The 10-year relationship with her fiancé had long since lost its flavor. It was only because of their families that she hadn't made a clean break. Back in the office, Sally suddenly received a call from her mother, pressing her about marriage. Learning that her fiancé had repeatedly made various decisions for her, without consulting her even once, she instantly boiled with anger. Finally, she realized the rift between them could no longer be ignored, so she decided to ask her fiancé to meet that evening for a serious talk. But her fiancé seemed to have guessed her thoughts. Claiming an urgent matter had come up, he deliberately avoided seeing her. Stranded, Sally walked alone on the street, her heart filled with disappointment. Suddenly, it clicked. Her fiancé was so insistent on marrying her, not out of love, but simply because this marriage was a step in his plan that couldn't go wrong. Mo, on the other hand, wasn't doing any better. Recalling Sally's coldness toward him, and the smug look on her fiancé's face when he showed off the diamond ring, Mo was filled with resentment, yet felt utterly helpless. He had intended to let go of this fruitless Kangens for good, but he never expected that the very next day, while just inspecting the factory, fate would bring him face to face with Sally again, who was there to sign a contract. It was raining heavily at the time, and Sally looked especially disheveled. Not only was she soaked to the bone, but the things in her hands were also scattered all over the ground. Mo's heart ached sharply. He immediately grabbed an umbrella from his assistant, rushed over, shielded her under the umbrella, and blocked the wind and rain above her head. Sally looked up instinctively, and met Mo's eyes, which were full of heartache. It seemed that every time she needed help, this man could always appear in time, giving her a sturdy support to lean on. Mo helped Sally pick up the scattered items, then took her under a bridge to take shelter from the rain. Seeing the girl he loved in such a sorry state, he suddenly felt regret. Regret for not having the courage to firmly approach her back then, and for all the compromises he had made since. To be continued. The girl learned that the man she liked had been in a car accident. This news instantly threw her into a panic. Without overthinking it, Sally desperately rushed to the accident scene. She searched everywhere at the scene but couldn't find Mo. Calling his phone again and again, no one answered. Determined to find him, she tried to force her way in, but was stopped by staff. Finally breaking through, Sally only saw Mo's car overturned on its side. Fear of losing him instantly overwhelmed her. Fortunately, Mo's call came through just in time. It was his assistant driving. He calmly explained. Hearing he was safe, Sally's hanging heart finally settled, but the sudden sound of sirens over the phone alerted Mo. Not wanting him to worry, Sally lied and said she was on her way home from work. As soon as she hung up and left, someone suddenly called out to her from behind. Seeing Sally suddenly appear, Mo could no longer hold back, breaking their previous boundaries as he strode over to her. Sally too finally stopped fighting her true feelings, and the two embraced tightly. However, Sally's entanglement with her fiancé was still unresolved. Reluctantly, she had to push Mo away once more. After returning home, Sally was bombarded with incessant calls from her fiancé. In their 10-year relationship, she had never realized how controlling he was. Now it just felt suffocating. Her best friend bluntly stated that their relationship had been cracked for a long time. Sally had thought that forgiving her fiancé's infidelity could mend their broken bond, but only now did she realize she had never truly understood him. Her fiancé blamed Sally's changes entirely on Mo, even stating that no matter what happened between Sally and Mo, he could let bygones be bygones and consider them even. Shocked by his words, Sally was completely clear in that moment. There was no love left between them, only an obsession with getting married. She immediately called for a breakup. The next day at work, her best friend was happy about her decision. Their conversation, however, was overheard by Mo, who passed by. Secretly delighted, he even gave her best friend a day off to spend more time with Sally, but her fiancé would not let go easily. Believing Sally's breakup was just a momentary impulse, he came to her company every day to pester her relentlessly. Their lotcha happened to be witnessed by Mo. Not seeing Sally's refusal, Mo mistakenly thought they had reconciled. Furious, he was full of sarcastic remarks in the elevator. Sally didn't realize he was jealous, she just thought Mo's temper was unpredictable. To escape her parents' pressure to marry, Sally moved out in frustration. But she never expected that right after settling into her new place, she would discover her neighbor was the very man she most wanted to avoid. To be continued. Continuing from the previous story, the girl had just moved into a new place, never expecting she would become neighbors with her boss. Both of them were stunned by this sudden twist of fate, and Sally soon realized it was Mo who had reported her. Earlier that day, Sally had moved into her newly rented apartment to escape her parents' constant pressure to get married. A group of friends came over to celebrate her housewarming, and they started a party in the new space. Little did they know, the noise disturbed Mo, who was working next door. Irritated by the loud music, Mo had no idea his new neighbor was the girl he liked. He directly filed a complaint with the property management about the disturbance. Just as Sally finished seeing her friends off, the property manager knocked on her door. They informed her that a resident had reported noise disturbance, and warned that if the issue persisted after communication, the other party might pursue legal action. Sally never imagined that on her very first day after moving in, she would get a complaint. It felt like incredibly bad luck. Knowing she was in the wrong, she quickly apologized repeatedly, hoping the matter would be closed. But not long after she sat down, the property manager came knocking again. This time it was a complaint about her leaving personal belongings in the hallway, occupying public space. Sally sighed helplessly, thinking to herself that this neighbor was really hard to get along with. Just as she was reluctantly moving her things, she happened to see her next-door neighbor stepping out. Taking a closer look, she realized this annoying neighbor was actually Mo. Seeing the girl he liked move in next door, Mo was secretly delighted. He immediately withdrew the complaints, but Sally wanted nothing more than to avoid him. The next day, she deliberately dragged her feet before leaving for work, afraid of running into Mo. Hearing his footsteps approach, she immediately ducked back into her apartment, pressed her ear to the door to listen for movement outside, and only relaxed once she was sure he had left. Then she slowly opened her door. Unbeknownst to her, Mo had seen right through her little act. He waited for her by the elevator, giving her a big surprise. Sally cursed inwardly, thinking he was like a lingering ghost, but she had no choice but to put on a brave face and greet him. Sally's mood had sunk to its lowest point. No sooner had she arrived at the office than her ex-fiancé showed up. In a desperate attempt to win her back, he went all out, not only gifting her a luxury car, but even setting the license plate to their initials. Yet Sally, whose mind was already made up, still turned him down, but her ex-fiancé refused to give up. He lingered at the company entrance, stubbornly refusing to leave. The sight of the two of them arguing happened to catch Mo's eye, and instantly tipped over his jealousy. To be continued. Continuing from the previous episode. The CEO accidentally noticed that the girl he liked was being persistently bothered by her scumbag fiancé, which instantly sparked his jealousy. Unable to restrain his inner impulse, he stepped forward to help her out. With Mo's assistance, the fiancé gained no advantage. Reluctantly, he remarked that if the car gift wasn't liked, it could be exchanged, but emphasized that only he and Sally were the most compatible partners for each other, a comment also aimed as a hint to Mo nearby. He then left in displeasure. Unexpectedly, Sally showed no appreciation at all. She told Mo not to interfere in her matters again. One day, Sally suddenly received a call from her younger brother, saying their father wanted to meet and talk with her. But when she arrived at the agreed location, she discovered her father was actually there to persuade her to reunite with her fiancé. Even though he knew the future son-in-law had once wronged his daughter, her father still pressured her to reconcile and marry her ex-boyfriend. Since childhood, Sally's life had been controlled by her father, but marriage was a lifetime matter. She absolutely would not compromise. In the end, the father and daughter, holding opposing views, had a complete falling out. Distraught, Sally wandered alone on the street. At some point, an umbrella suddenly appeared above her head, shielding her from the wind and rain. She looked up and saw Mo's face full of concern. Seeing Sally in such a disheveled state, Mo didn't ask many questions. He simply took out a tissue and told her to wipe the rain from her face. He then took her to his secret base, encouraging her to release all the grievances and unhappiness in her heart, while he silently stayed by her side. Witnessing how much Sally had suffered in this relationship, Mo could no longer hold back. He pulled the girl he loved into his arms. Sally was deeply grateful to Mo for always appearing when she needed him most, and for his considerate care. In that moment, she also let go of her previous biases against him. After careful consideration, Mo decided to confess to Sally the next day. He planned to use his performance opportunity to invite Sally to the bar and give her the necklace he had customized long ago. This time, Sally finally did not refuse. But the next day, when she dressed up carefully and arrived early at the bar to wait for Mo, she unexpectedly saw one of Mo's handwritten notebooks on the counter. Inside were records of all the girls connected to him, and Sally was among them. Next to her name it read, Sally, a seemingly prim and proper white-collar worker, caught between maturity and childishness, dislikes challenges and tends to avoid them. After seeing her place in Mo's heart, Sally immediately backed off and went straight home. Even after the performance ended, Mo never saw Sally's figure, leaving him filled with disappointment. The next day at work, the two ran into each other at the company. Sally once again made up her mind to draw a clear line with him. To be continued. Continuing from the previous episode. The CEO was surprised to discover that the girl he fancied was drunk and making a scene in a residential area. This left him utterly speechless. Finding it embarrassing, he pretended not to know her and tried to slip away. Unexpectedly, the community security guard stopped him, thinking it was a lover's quarrel, and kindly advised him not to leave the girl alone drinking, that it wasn't manly. Mo was left tongue-tied and had no choice but to take Sally back to his place, taking care of her in her drunken state. Under the influence of alcohol, Sally spoke her true thoughts, saying he was so handsome but a pity she could only admire from afar. She would never get serious with him. These words left Mo completely puzzled. What he didn't know was that Sally had already unconsciously developed feelings for him. The next day, when Sally woke up and found herself lying in Mo's bed, she panicked. Seeing the living room in a complete mess from her antics, she was so embarrassed she wished she could disappear. In a hurry, she grabbed her clothes and fled. At work, she accidentally spilled documents on the floor and ran into Mo, who asked if she was sober yet, making her extremely awkward. Just then, a colleague walked over and noticed Mo's injured hand, casually asking about the cause. Mo said it was scratched by his cat throwing a tantrum at home. Sally quickly changed the subject. But when Mo saw her chatting animatedly with a client and arranging to have dinner together, his jealous nature couldn't let someone else succeed. He drove right up to the two of them, using the excuse of a company emergency to call Sally away without further discussion, then took her back to his place. He claimed he wanted Sally to tidy up the room she had messed up, but he was really just looking for a chance to ask what she meant by her words last night. Sally admitted that what she wanted was a safe bet, and that he was not only like a trap but also dangerous. She didn't want to be foolish again, so it was better to keep a safe distance. Since it never really started, let's just end it here. Right at that moment, Sally suddenly received a call from her ex-boyfriend, saying his mother was having surgery in the hospital, and hoping she could visit. Sally immediately left Mo behind and hurried to the hospital. Her ex-boyfriend begged her not to tell his mother about their breakup, fearing the old lady couldn't handle the shock. In the end, Sally's heart softened and she agreed. Meanwhile, Mo's persistent admirer came to bother him again. During the chase, she accidentally missed a step, fell, and scraped her calf. Mo had no choice but to take her to the hospital. But just as the two came out of the consultation room, they happened to run into Sally and her ex-boyfriend. This dramatic scene made the atmosphere extremely awkward. To be continued. The girl was taking wedding photos with her ex-boyfriend. And unexpectedly, the CEO who likes her saw it. A wave of intense jealousy instantly surged within him. Sally knew he had misunderstood again. After all, she was just one of the many ambiguous names in his little black book. It turned out that a few days earlier, Sally had received a call from her ex-boyfriend. His mother was about to undergo surgery and wanted to see her. Since her ex-boyfriend's mother had always been kind to her, Sally's heart softened, and she eventually agreed. But just as the two stepped out of the hospital room, they witnessed a heartbreaking scene. The CEO she had just rejected was actually behaving intimately with a female colleague. Sally felt utterly lost inside. Meanwhile, Mo, who also had feelings for her, saw her with her ex-boyfriend, and a wave of inexplicable jealousy washed over him. Unbeknownst to both, they had misunderstood each other. Seeing this, the scheming woman immediately added fuel to the fire, deliberately asking if the two had come for a premarital checkup. As soon as those words were spoken, Mo's expression darkened even further. Her ex-boyfriend deliberately asked the scheming woman what she was doing there. She explained that she had gotten injured while on a date with Mo. In a sour mood, Mo didn't bother explaining and simply turned to leave. Her ex-boyfriend said his mother hoped to take a family photo with Sally before the surgery. Reluctantly, she had no choice but to agree. However, she never expected that this scene would coincidentally be witnessed by Mo. The next day, Sally's project team broke sales records. Their leader was so thrilled that he rewarded everyone with a team-building trip to a resort, and specifically asked her to invite Mo. Sally arranged to meet Mo. Just as she was about to speak, she received a voice message from her ex-boyfriend, asking if the photos looked good. She wanted to take the opportunity to explain, but Mo coldly cut her off. Sally didn't say anything more, and only conveyed the leader's invitation. But when Mo heard it wasn't a sincere invitation from her, he immediately got angry. He bluntly stated that he was too busy to attend the team building. Little did he expect that he would eat his words almost instantly. The very next moment after refusing, he showed up at the resort dragging his luggage. As soon as Sally checked into the hotel, she received a sexy outfit prepared by her best friend, meant to help her outshine everyone at the team building event. She found it too revealing, and only dared to admire it in her room. But while taking a selfie on the balcony, her hairband was blown off by the wind and landed downstairs. She hurried down to pick it up, and happened to run into Mo opening his door. The moment she saw him, Sally instinctively showed a flash of delight but immediately withdrew it. Mo stubbornly claimed he was there for business inspection, but Sally called him out on the spot. While they were bickering, her best friend sent a voice message reminding her to definitely show off her figure and outshine everyone at the team building event. Sally hurriedly turned it off, but Mo had already heard it. Misunderstanding that she was planning to go out and show off, he pulled Sally into his room. To be continued. Continuing from the previous story, the woman pinned the overbearing CEO against the wall, demanding to know whether he had feelings for her or not. The president was utterly astonished by her action. Sally no longer wanted Mo to misunderstand her, so she had to explain about the photo. She said she was just fulfilling her duty as a younger family member, and had absolutely not gotten back together with her ex-boyfriend. In contrast, it was Mo, this playboy, who actually kept a whole little black book of women's names. Hearing this, Mo suddenly understood. So the reason her attitude had changed was that she saw the little black book at the bar and was jealous. He could no longer contain the secret joy in his heart. That evening, everyone played a murder mystery role-playing game. The plot required the scheming woman to kiss Mo, and everyone started cheering them on. Only Sally felt extremely uncomfortable. Sensing her discomfort, Mo deliberately did not object because he wanted to test her true feelings. Just as the scheming woman's lips were about to touch his, Sally could no longer hold back. She pretended to answer a phone call to interrupt the game and then fled in a panic, her retreating figure full of embarrassment. Seeing her run away like that, Mo got the answer he wanted. He immediately ended the game and chased after her. Sally was lost in thought by herself at the poolside. Mo walked over, gently draped his jacket over her shoulders, turned her around, and earnestly explained everything. He then added that the person he liked also knew how he felt, and naturally understood that she cared about him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been jealous or upset over him. Moved by his sincere confession, Sally's eyes glistened with tears. She finally stopped running away and accepted his confession. The two were immersed in their affection for each other. But when she woke up the next morning, Sally regretted her impulsiveness from the night before and did not dare to face Mo directly. Just as the two were about to have a deeper conversation, urgent knocking came from outside the door. It was the scheming woman. Feeling guilty, Sally remembered that she had once told the scheming woman she didn't like Mo. In a panic, she tried to hide him in the wardrobe. Mo, a dignified CEO, was unwilling to do such a thing. Sally hurriedly covered his mouth and stuffed him into the wardrobe. She then quickly straightened her clothes before opening the door. The scheming woman grew suspicious because she took so long to answer, and searched the room inside and out, but found no one. She then asked Sally if she had seen Mo. Sally had no choice but to play dumb. Seeing that the scheming woman was about to call Mo, Sally coughed loudly to signal to Mo inside the wardrobe. Fortunately, he promptly hung up the phone. Right then, the scheming woman received a call from Mo's assistant saying he had already been found, so she hurriedly left. Sally breathed a sigh of relief. Mo came out of the wardrobe and teased her, asking if she was planning to take advantage and then deny everything. Mo invited her to an industry cocktail party the following week. Sally felt their company statuses were too different, and didn't want to make their relationship public, so she said it wasn't appropriate. Although Mo didn't force her, he specially had an evening gown custom made for her, and told her to try it on right away. When Sally changed and came out, her entire aura was transformed, instantly stunning Mo. To be continued. Continuing from the previous episode. The CEO was on a sweet date with a girl he liked, when they were spotted by a scheming woman who had a crush on him. She instantly became so angry that she could barely contain herself. wishing she could slap Sally from across the room. After Mo left, the scheming woman immediately rushed over to confront Sally. Upon learning that Sally and Mo were together, she flew into a rage and grabbed a cup of coffee, about to throw it in Sally's face. But Sally, with quick reflexes, caught her wrist. The two then had a calm conversation about why they liked Mo. In the end, the scheming woman had to face the sad truth. It had always been one-sided. Mo had never liked her. Seeing no hope left, she could only slink away dejectedly. On the day of the cocktail party, Sally dressed up beautifully and was ready to head out when she received a call from her ex-boyfriend, asking her to come to the hospital. Meanwhile, at the party, Mo waited and waited, but Sally never showed up. His heart full of disappointment, he soon received a call. It turned out that Sally's ex-boyfriend's mother had suddenly fallen ill and needed surgery. Remembering how the ex's mother had once taken care of her, Sally decided to stay at the hospital until the surgery was over. Just then, the scheming woman walked over, still unwilling to give up, and asked to be Mo's dance partner. Unexpectedly, he rejected her outright. The scheming woman couldn't understand what she lacked compared to Sally. The eagerly anticipated cocktail party ended like this. Mo hurried to the hospital, where he happened to witness the ex-boyfriend holding Sally's hand and begging for reconciliation. In truth, the ex-boyfriend had already spotted Mo. He deliberately held Sally's hand, hoping to ruin their relationship, but Mo didn't step forward to confront them. Instead, he quietly turned and left, giving his girlfriend enough trust. Sure enough, the next second, Sally firmly refused her ex-boyfriend without hesitation. When she received the late-night snack delivered by a nurse, she instantly realized Mo had been there. She quickly called to explain the situation. Mo didn't mind, and instead took the opportunity to ask for compensation for her standing him up. Seeing his scheme fail, the ex-boyfriend's face grew even darker. The next day at work, Sally not only prepared coffee for Mo, but also presented the compensation plan that satisfied him, a deep kiss. Perfectly content, Mo forgave her right away. Lovingly, he took off his own scarf and wrapped it around his girlfriend's neck. Just when it seemed their sweet days would continue, the appearance of another woman would once again test their relationship, to be continued. The president was shocked to discover that both his ex-girlfriend and his current partner were standing in front of him at the same time, leaving him momentarily at a loss. Without hesitation, he completely ignored his ex, effortlessly pulled Sally close, and proudly introduced her to everyone present. Watching this scene unfold, his ex-girlfriend's face instantly turned pale with anger. Unwilling to accept defeat, she deliberately stepped forward to make her presence known, intentionally bringing up past memories with Mo, her words dripping with unmistakable ambiguity. Sally immediately picked up on the hidden meaning behind those words, and countered with composure and confidence. Seeing Sally's jealous reaction, Mo's eyes filled with adoration. He even dedicated the first song of his performance to her. Feeling the warmth of his affection, Sally smiled sweetly from her seat in the audience. However, as soon as the song ended, an unexpected turn of events occurred. Someone in the crowd recognized the ex-girlfriend as the lead singer of the band from years ago. Amid the audience's urging, the ex-girlfriend smugly took to the stage, wanting to recreate the past performance with Mo. With a provocative tone, she deliberately chose a song Mo had once written for her. On stage, the two performed in perfect sync, appearing exceptionally well-matched. Watching from below, Sally couldn't help but feel waves of jealousy. Suddenly, she remembered that the first time she encountered Mo in a bar, he seemed to be singing this very song. The thought left her feeling disheartened, and she silently turned and left the venue. After his performance, Mo couldn't find Sally anywhere and instantly lost interest, impatiently shaking off his ex-girlfriend's persistent advances. All he wanted was to hurry back and console Sally. Mo specially bought Sally's favorite snacks and went to see her, only to be stopped at the door by his girlfriend in the midst of a jealous outburst. Only after hearing that he'd brought food, did Sally reluctantly open the door. Seeing his girlfriend's stubbornness, the domineering president had no choice but to pull out his ultimate move. He simply picked her up and carried her into the room. Once inside, Mo sincerely explained to Sally that he had long let go of the past and now had eyes only for her. Gazing at the man before her, Sally suddenly realized she seemed to care more and more. She would feel jealous about his past and anxious about their uncertain future. Sensing her unease, Mo softly said that all of that was in his past. To give her a sense of security, he not only presented a love song he had written especially for her, but also sincerely invited her to attend the band's upcoming anniversary celebration as his partner. Sally's tangled feelings gradually began to ease. But to her utter surprise, on the day of the anniversary celebration, Mo took Sally to dine with the band members. The atmosphere at the table was lively and harmonious, until Mo suddenly received a call from his ex-girlfriend. He quickly stepped outside to take it. The call seemed to be about something urgent. After hanging up, Mo simply told Sally he had work to attend to, and hurried off alone, not returning even after the gathering ended. Worried that Mo hadn't eaten much earlier, Sally decided to bring some food to his office. But as soon as she reached the door of the president's office, she was met with a heart-wrenching scene. To be continued. The woman was shocked to discover that her CEO boyfriend was unbuttoning his ex-girlfriend's blouse. She immediately stormed over, tore open the ex-girlfriend's clothes, and cured the other woman's asthma attack in just 1 second. Sally knew the ex-girlfriend had no real tricks up her sleeve. She was just pretending to be sick and pathetic to win Mo back. But trying to steal her boyfriend with such a cheap trick was nothing but wishful thinking. After saying that, she took Mo and left. Seeing her scheme fail, the ex-girlfriend's face turned pale with anger. 8 years ago, the ex-girlfriend had left without a word for the sake of her future. Now she regretted it and wanted to reconcile. But Mo's heart and eyes were filled only with Sally. Faced with Sally's questions, Mo held nothing back and confessed everything about his past with his ex. Sally had always believed in trusting the one she loved. After their honest conversation, their relationship actually grew stronger. Who would have thought the ex-girlfriend still refused to give up? The next day she clung to Mo under the pretense of work, only to be coldly warned by him. Having been thoroughly rejected, she turned to provoke Sally, mocking her as nothing but a pretty vase, and bragging that she was the one who had shaped Mo. Even his daily outfits were designed by her. But he has me now. With that one sentence, the ex-girlfriend's face turned from green to white. After that, whenever the ex-girlfriend called, Mo had Sally answer. When the ex-girlfriend ambiguously reminded him to prepare things for his business trip, Sally calmly replied that she would help him get everything ready, leaving the ex-girlfriend fuming. The ex-girlfriend had intended to use the business trip to be alone with Mo, but she never expected Sally to show up with luggage in tow, surprising them. Mo immediately welcomed her with a happy expression, leaving the ex-girlfriend thoroughly embarrassed. So using work as an excuse, she sent Mo away, then threatened Sally fiercely, but Sally paid no mind. Instead, she focused on preparing a birthday surprise for Mo. She hired a band, arranged a romantic venue, and even handmade a couple's mug. But Mo was late, and he never showed up. It turned out the ex-girlfriend had a sudden asthma attack and was taken to the hospital, so he stayed to keep her company. Sally waited from noon until night. The waitstaff asked several times if she wanted to keep waiting, but she always believed Mo would come. At the very last moment, Mo finally rushed back, apologizing and explaining why he was late. Not only did Sally not blame him, she even asked if the ex-girlfriend was okay at the hospital. Only after learning someone else was with her did she relax. Then she sang the song she had secretly practiced. Although she went off key a few times, Mo listened with a face full of happiness. The two hugged each other tightly. Mo had completely forgotten it was his birthday until Sally said, "Happy birthday." Only then did it dawn on him. But when his girlfriend sang the birthday song and the waiter brought out the cake, his expression suddenly changed drastically. Suppressing his emotions, he interrupted, saying he needed to be alone for a while. Then he turned and left, accidentally knocking over the couple's mug she had made for him with her own hands. This left Sally utterly confused. To be continued. Continuing from the previous story. The girl happily prepared a birthday surprise for her CEO boyfriend. But the moment he saw the delivered cake, his expression changed drastically. He then turned and left without looking back, even knocking over the birthday gift his girlfriend had made by hand. Looking at the shattered mug, Sally was so upset she was nearly in tears. She couldn't understand why her boyfriend would react like this. Little did she know, it all had to do with Mo's tragic childhood. It turned out that on Mo's 18th birthday, his father was taken away for a crime, and his mother, unable to bear the shock, chose to end her life. Having lost both parents in a single day, he had never celebrated his birthday since. At that moment, Sally suddenly remembered the words her romantic rival had said, and everything finally clicked for her. Meanwhile, Mo went to the restroom, splashing cold water on his face repeatedly, trying to calm the turmoil inside. When he finally composed himself and returned to the birthday venue, he found that Sally had already disappeared without a trace. Only the two shattered couple mugs were left behind. He instantly realized that his earlier actions must have deeply hurt his girlfriend's heart. Frantically, he began searching everywhere for her. But in the end, the two just missed each other at the elevator. Disheartened and lost, Mo had no idea how to continue this relationship. After returning home, Sally felt suffocated by her emotions and went to a bar to clear her head. By chance, she overheard Mo's friend mentioning that painful, unforgettable chapter of his childhood. The moment she learned the truth, all of Sally's grievances vanished completely, and she forgave Mo entirely. The next day, to cheer Sally up, Mo not only bought a new birthday cake, but also personally cooked a table full of her favorite dishes. Over the meal, he shared all those painful memories from his childhood with Sally, without holding anything back. Seeing how sad Mo looked, his girlfriend felt heartbroken for him. She lit the candle on the cake, handed it to Mo, and told him she wanted to give him this light, hoping it could illuminate the 18-year-old Mo. Now, she was his light. With that, the two finally cleared up all their misunderstandings and came back together. Seeing that she no longer had a chance, Mo's ex-girlfriend decided to have one final farewell dinner with everyone, putting an end to this emotional entanglement once and for all. Just when it seemed Sally and Mo could be happy from then on, Sally's troublemaking ex-boyfriend suddenly resurfaced. He secretly investigated Mo's background and informed Sally's father about it. After learning the truth, Sally's father firmly pressured his daughter to break up with Mo. Fortunately, Sally's younger brother spoke up and revealed the truth. The reason his sister had broken up with her ex-boyfriend was because he had cheated on her before the wedding. Sally's father never expected that the student he valued most would do such a thing. Utterly disappointed, he angrily confronted the ex-boyfriend and warned him to watch his step. They finally found happiness together,